What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Fundamental of Investing podcast. This video is going to be very different from other videos that we've done in the past. There's going to be no fundamentals in this video. We're not talking about any stock deep dive in particular or any earnings report. In fact, in this video, we're going to be talking about purely speculation as to when Tesla's stock price will split. If that's not your cup of tea, then please leave this video right now because it's going to get really interesting. But if it is, stick around because this is going to be a really fun one that I'm very excited about. Okay, so if you're still here, you know what you signed up for, and I warned you beforehand. If you've been a Tesla stockholder for a while, then you know that Elon Musk is the type of person who likes to play practical jokes. He likes to play games, and he particularly likes to drop hints for Tesla shareholders with regards to the stock price. Everybody knows that the SEC is very heavily scrutinizing him to the point where I think there was a whole period of time where he had a team of lawyers that had to approve every one of his tweets that went out. I don't think that's the case anymore, judging from some of his latest tweets, but there was heavy scrutiny ever since the taking Tesla private at 420 tweet, which really caused a surge in the stock price. The SEC really put a hamper on his future tweeting and his jokes. And so Elon drops little hints for shareholders, and it almost becomes like a little puzzle of speculation, but mostly devolves into conspiratorial thinking. And that's what we're going to encourage in this video. So let's jump right into it. I first found out about this from Gary Black on Twitter, who highlighted some patterns that he found. I think other people on Twitter were onto the same line of thinking. Now, Gary Black's whole thesis is that Tesla is going to do a stock split. Why? Because the stock price is close to where it was when they did their previous split back in 2020. They did their split around $1,200 to $1,300 was when they announced their split. And the stock is currently trading for about $1,200 today again, even though it was like a 5-to-1 stock split. And so that's one of the reasons why, because Elon Musk has always wanted retail investors to get into the stock, and a high stock price means that it's inaccessible to a lot of people. And as we know, stock splits lead to huge surges and overall overperformance against the indexes in the 12-month period, in a 5-year period, pretty much all the time. Companies that regularly split beat out companies that don't. And so Gary Black's thesis was that December 9th was going to be the date, and he took basically this 12/9 as the indication of that. So you can see 12, if you add a slash, 12/9, December 9th, for the orbital flight or the takeoff, so to speak, of the stock. Again, this might sound really far-fetched, but I promise you it gets weirder than this. So the second piece, again, from Gary Black, was this other tweet. Due to inflation, 420 has gone up by 69. If you add these numbers up, they add up to 489, which is 4 plus 8 equals 12, 12/9 again. Okay, kind of weird. And then you have this entire and beautiful Twitter thread by Rob Graves, which is absolutely amazing. I actually read this multiple times last night and I couldn't believe it because, like I said, I love puzzles and I love solving puzzles and I love speculation. It's one of the reasons why I love doing research on companies so much, because I love puzzles. And looking into this thread was absolutely amazing. So we're going to go through it together. Rob highlights here that he doesn't normally do threads like this, but he's a big Elon supporter and follows Tesla stock closely. This is going to be a nerdy conspiracy theory type thread on Tesla based on some recent hints from Elon himself. Take it for what you will. I just think it's fun. And this is exactly the whole point of this video. I just think it's fun. I wanted to share this with you. Okay, so the thread starts. Truth or fiction, it's still interesting to analyze. And I did happen to stumble upon a connection that seems beyond coincidence, something which, to my knowledge, no one else has picked up on. That made it worth writing about. We'll save that bit for last. So Elon is known for leaving breadcrumbs, which are usually only evident in retrospect. A great example is this now famous tweet. So this was the tweet that now people are attributing to the stock price, the hint that was dropped back in May of 2020. I remember this tweet. Tesla was trading for around $750, $760, and Elon tweeted out that the stock price was too high, and then the stock fell about 10% based on this tweet. But notice the time around it. So if you notice this tweet, it was sent at 8:11 PST. The stock split was then announced on August 11th, which is 8/11. And so, yeah, that might just be a coincidence, 8/11, like 8/11, but we know Elon drops hints. And the other interesting point that Rob doesn't highlight here is that it was a 5-for-1 stock split. Notice the date, May, the 5th month, the first date, 5-for-1. And so people attribute this to the first stock split where he said, hey, the stock price is too high. It's not the stock valuation is too high. It's the price is too high. Therefore, they're going to split it. 8/11 was the date when they were going to split it. And then 5-to-1 was the actual split amount. Now, that could be a pure coincidence. Sure, it could be. But there's more examples with different threads that Elon's done, different breadcrumbs that he's left behind. And like I said before, ever since this Tesla stock price is too high played out and people made the connection, it's been completely conspiratorial type thinking from the retail crowd, which is absolutely fantastic to see. I absolutely love it. Rob continues, there are more examples, but this thread deals with the current speculation over another upcoming Tesla split. Why the speculation? Well, Tesla's stock price is nearing the same levels as it was when the previous split was announced. That alone is enough to fuel some healthy speculation. More interestingly, Elon seems to have been dropping some of his famous hints here and there about when the split might occur. This hypothetical date is 12/9/21, December 9th, and some speculators think it will be a 5-to-1 split as was the previous split. Now, most of the speculation is tongue-in-cheek, just us Tesla fans having fun, more or less. Consider this, for example, 129 orbital flights, an oddly specific milestone, which some believe hints at 12/9 date, which is not super convincing, right? I highlighted this in my first sort of slide that I put up. The second one was the 420 plus 69, which is 489, 12/9. But Rob continues more in depth here, where Gary Black has highlighted the 12 million pounds of thrust, and Gary noted that there are 9 middle thrusters. So again, 12/9 appears. And just so you can see that thread, it's in regards to this tweet where Elon tweeted about the SpaceX, 12 million pounds of thrust at liftoff. Gary highlighted that because there's 9 middle thrusters, it just plays into this conspiracy. The thing you'll find is that the moment you have something locked in your head, you start seeing that number everywhere. You know, if you start learning a new phrase for the first time, you're going to hear that phrase multiple times in regular discussion. Or if there's a number that keeps popping out at you, it's going to keep popping out at you even more. That's just psychologically speaking how it works. There's a whole branch of psychology that's based on this neurological sort of anchoring. So after you have a hypothesis, all facts sort of support that hypothesis. So that's one of the fallacies that we could run into here. But again, this video, much like this thread, is just for fun. So again, 12/9 appears in that thread, the Raptor engines and the 12 million pounds of thrust. And Elon Musk's tweet was sent at 10:20 PST, 10:20 reducible to 5/1. Nothing too firm, but just maybe fueling the fire a little. Now, here's the interesting part. Gary Black again, and by the way, Gary Black is a great resource on Tesla in general to follow. Every day he tweets about Tesla. Much like myself, it is his biggest position as well. So basically, Gary Black highlights here one thing about Elon Musk. He loves sending clues to his loyal fans. The 10B51 plan being used to auto-exercise and sell options now has, for 3 times, 3 instances, traded 934,091 shares with 3 different exercise amounts. So the question is, what is so significant about this number? Like, he's selling batches of stock, but why is it this number? Which may be significant or it may be random, right? Like, it goes into this conspiracy type thinking where you start associating everything with it. But Rob now has figured out this number of all the random blocks of stock Elon has been selling in various amounts. One very specific number has appeared 3 times so far, 934,091 shares. He keeps selling in this block. At first glance, nothing seems special about this number, but knowing Elon, it just seems too specific to be random. It took me about 5 minutes before I saw it, and I cannot possibly imagine how all of this is coincidence. I also cannot imagine how you reverse engineered this, so there's that too. Anyway, here we go, nerd stuff from here on out, you've been warned. So we've established that Elon has been somewhat planting the 12/9 number in our heads, leading many to speculate on a 12/09/21 split. So December 9th, 2021 split. Then this number starts appearing. So this number starts appearing after the previous tweets, after the 12/9 has already been speculated. Could they be connected? Rob splits out the date. December 9th, 2021 can be written as the number 12,092,021. And he divides that by this number, 934,091, and the result is 12.9. So let's just test this out for the sake of testing it out. We can see the result here being 12.9 when we try this out ourselves. So it adds up. Now, an iPhone calculator gives you 6 decimal places by default. So the full number you see is 12.945228. So we can see here 12.9452280.345. We've already got the 12.9, but what happens if we add up the remaining decimals? 45228 is 21. 12, 9, 21. And Rob highlights here that we've barely even gotten started. The iPhone shows 6 decimal places by default, but the full iPhone result is 12.9452280.3452769. What happens if we add up all of the numbers after the 12.9? This is tricky because we have a 0. So are we adding 8 plus 0 or 80? Elon may have answered. In this Elon tweet, replying to Lex Friedman, he said, 0 is a cool concept. In a recent discussion about the concept of 0, Elon wrote, nothing matters. Nothing here referring to 0, so that it does matter, i.e. to include it in the number 80. And then he followed this up with 0 is a cool concept. So it's worth noting that Elon's above tweet was sent at 11:34. I mention it because if you return to our full number, you'll notice a 34 come immediately after the 0 in question. So you have 0 here and then you have 34. If the 0 matters, then it's an 80 and it's not 8 plus 0. So if we add everything up after the 12.9, so 4 plus 5 plus 2, all of these up, and we include the 80, it has, again, 129. Again, 12.9 appears. Believe it or not, we're still not done. In true Elon Musk fashion, he has personally signed this amazing work of art. Let's add up all of the single numbers in 12.94 just to see what we get. Add them all up. What do you get? 69. So I don't know how this works out, or if this is just us sort of having this herd mindset of if we want something to happen. And Rob highlights, I guarantee there's a 420 reference in here somewhere, or maybe someone smarter than myself can find it. He continues to say that one obvious thing I left out here that I'd like to add, I have no idea if this means that a split is happening on December 9th. This could just as easily be Elon trolling. I'm making no predictions here. I just find it incredible that this much detailed planning and genius went into this. And in case I wasn't clear from my thread, I myself did not derive the widely speculated 12.9 date. I believe the first person to decipher the significance of this was Adam. So Adam, we're going to jump to one of his tweets in a bit with that date to plug in. Now, the beautiful thing is that from this whole thread, someone found the 420, it's in the time of the post. And there's all these different hypotheses here that even if you keep reading this thread, that retail investors just find out here where it adds up to 12.9. So one of the things that I was talking about was this 420 has gone up by 69, 489, which is 12.9. And then Adam here highlights the date. We are choked with news and starved of history. The date is 12:09 a.m. So again, 12:09 appears here. This is in Pacific Standard Time, which is where Elon is. So you can make your own decisions, come to your own conclusions about this. I just thought it was interesting. And I wanted to share it with you. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. A Tesla split on December 9th would absolutely send the stock price surging. And this level of detail, this level of hints is something that Elon has been known for. He's actually executed this before and nobody noticed it at the time, but everybody sort of noticed it in retrospect. Again, this tweet has now become, somewhat famous in retrospect due to this speculation and these hints that are dropped. For it to all be a coincidence, sure, it could be, definitely could be, of course it could be. But these numbers are all too specific, and all of these things that are planted is really interesting to see from a retail investor perspective. It's almost like this little game where, Elon is trying to communicate with Tesla shareholders before the fact without being caught by the SEC about it. So I just thought it was interesting. And if we see a Tesla stock split on December the 9th, then that would be absolutely insane. I actually tweeted out that if this actually ends up happening and the stock split happens on December the 9th or even on December the 10th, I think Rob highlighted that Elon could just be trolling and he can make the stock split happen on December the 10th, one day later, and have all of us sort of like spin and spiral for nothing. But even if that stock split happens around that time, I guarantee you that everybody will be analyzing every single shred of metadata around every single tweet that he ever posts and will be sort of making these crazy, crazy conclusions from now until the day he dies. Because, it's like fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me kind of thing, where if he does it once and the stock split happens, sure, people will start investigating, but it'll still be a smaller cohort. But if he does it twice and it happens twice, then it's going to be absolutely bonkers because now people will associate everything and they will add meaning to everything. I don't know what's going to happen. I just found it interesting. I want to share it with you. For right now, this is the Fundamentals of Investing podcast. Thank you so much for indulging me in this crazy, crazy quest of a video.